Please identify yourself, say where you're from, and then direct your question.
Dana Bond, Nellis Ford. You talked about the obscenity of campaign spending. My question is, how can we change that, decrease the amount of money involved in campaigning, as long as we have no controls over corporate lobbies and their involvement in their contributions, sometimes under the table?
All right, I'd like to call on corporate lobbyist John Sununu.
I don't lobby.
You don't lobby at all?
Look, it is terrible the amount of money that's being spent, but let's at least clear up in our mind where that money goes, because we hear the press ranting about the amount of money that's spent. 95% of the money that's spent goes to television and newspaper and advertising. That's where the money's going. So I will propose what I believe is an unconstitutional solution to the problem, and that is to say that all media should be free. It won't happen, it probably shouldn't happen, but at least it would reduce the impact of money in elections. That's my facetious recommendation for the solution. Other than that, the process, unfortunately, is First Amendment protected. And if you pass a law to take care of A, they'll find B to do it. And if you pass a law to take care of B, they'll go and do C. The tragedy, of course, is that we are so susceptible to the advertising that comes on television. In an odd way, it is we who can change the system by cutting through the advertising and paying more attention to the endless debates, and more attention to the face-to-face confrontations, and more attention to the non-advertised process of campaigning. And until we take the time to do that, you're going to see the obscenity of money being a significant part of the process.
Question, all three. We'll just keep moving. Yes, sir.
My name is Vlad Fundin. I live in Palmyra, Virginia. And I want to thank all three panelists for a wonderful presentation. My concern is, shouldn't every vote count? If we have an electoral college where somebody would get 51% of the votes, and they get all the state's electors. Another state where they would get 30% of the votes, or 70%, and they get, there's something unequal in having an electoral college. You please say this.
Well, I hate to be taking someone's time on the microphone, but with all due respect, sir, that's not what the system is. This is not an absolute democracy across the board. It is a republic of states. It was designed that way. It is the strength of the system. It's what makes it work. You know, the Constitution is 10, 12 pages, whatever it is. It's a wonderful recipe. It's a magic recipe. We have no idea how it has worked so successfully. 100 and some odd states have tried to copy the recipe, but they don't have the guts to do the commitment and the giving that happened in that magic 3 months in Philadelphia, when big states gave up things to small states gave up things to big states, the absolute Democrats gave up things to the Federalists, the importing states gave up to the exporting states, agriculture gave up to manufacturing, and vice versa. It is those pieces that they put in there, including the fact that they recognized that the system would be one in which not every vote counted the same weight, because it was a republic of states. And heaven forbid we should take the Kool-Aid, as I've been saying, and listen to the press that every vote should count the same. That's a platitude that undermines the fundamental glue and strength of the system. So we may not like the way that sounds, but in fact, changing that would undermine so many of the little pieces that fit together that make our system work and others not work so well.
Let's go
disapproval of all the money spent, the atrocious amounts of money spent. I'm wondering what either of you think about a candidate like Barack Obama, who has primarily come to the light because of all the money that he has raised through all these private donations. And I believe that before he raised the atrocious amounts of money, everyone predicted that Senator Clinton would have the nomination in the bag. So I'm wondering if you disapprove of the way that Mr. Obama has come to the forefront.
No, as a matter of fact, I think it's great. I think that it started some while back. It started earlier, even Jerry Brown was running when I was running for president, and we were on the show, and Tom Brokaw was the moderator, and Jerry Brown took out his number to advertise his tax number, etc. And so I'm going to hold this up, and Brokaw says, no, you can't do that. He said, oh, no, this is for America. This is First Amendment. This is how you send money to me. He held it up. I got so mad that I didn't have mine. So he held up. I think what has happened this year, you found the magic of the big money donor maximizing, as John was pointing out, the 2,300 donations. Whereas Barack has tapped into a plethora of people who were out there in terms of saying, I'm tired. I'll give $100 a month. 23 times. When you get millions of people giving that kind of money, it's fantastic. I'd be the first to tell you, I am surprised that he was able to do it and could do it to that extent, because one of the things he was never supposed to be able to do was raise the money to the extent that he's done it. I don't knock it. I'm a little envious of it.
Good. Excellent. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Sandy Chung from Allentown, New Jersey, and I myself am super excited to vote for the first time in the November election, but I do recognize that voter turnout, especially within my generation, has been a little dismal. Do you have any suggestions or improvements to increase voter interest and turnout in the upcoming election?
Good.
Turnout is over.
How can we improve turnout, particularly among the young, other than by supporting the Center for Politics and the Youth Leadership Division? Other than that.
I don't think there's any particular recipe that would necessarily apply to young voters. To me, it's an issue across the boards. I mean, for example, which has nothing to do with the president election, Larry's devoted his life trying to get the Constitution out there and have people understand what it is about. About 97% of this country has never read it. They don't have the foggiest idea what's in the Constitution of the United States. Now, whose fault is that? I'd say maybe probably the school system, to the extent that it doesn't teach it. But it's also, we've got to take some of this responsibility on our own shoulders. I mean, we're drowned in news around this, whether it's the printed word or whether it's televised or whether now the internet. My gosh, you can get every point of view known to man on the internet, especially with political thoughts. So, I don't know. I think the problem is not, are you getting the information? I think the problem in this country has been, I don't mean to put any aspersions on any of the present candidates, is we've had lousy candidates and nobody's interested. And I think that's pretty well testified to, not by a decline just in young voters, but in all voters as far as participation is concerned. And that's why I argue that this competition allowing independents to get into the mix, even the Republicans and Democrats.